Hey guys, it's Elisa, and today I'm going to tell you about the books that I read in the month of April. In the month of April, I went ahead and read 8 books. I think maybe it was 7 in a novella, something like that, but let's get right to it. I went ahead and started off with Filthy Beautiful Forever by Kendall. This is the 4th and final book in the series. This follows the older, more stern brother, Collins. He is in a relationship with this model. It's more convenience than substance between them. All of a sudden one day there's a knock at the door, and it is Mia, a long childhood friend that they haven't seen each other in years, but when they were younger, they had made a deal that if by a certain age they were not married, that they would marry each other. So Mia's life has not been going according to plan. She is part of a scandal, so she moves miles away to where Collins lives and is broke, and he remembers his childhood crush, and it goes on this adventure, and then it has a really good epilogue where it brings all the characters together. I get to know what everybody is doing. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. After reading that, I wanted something with a little bit more action, I guess. Not so much like sexy time action, just, I don't know, something that was more of a page turner for me. Like, I enjoyed these were like okay books and everything, but I just wanted something better, if that makes sense. So I forgot who it was that suggested that I read the Stage Dive series by Kylie Scott. So I went ahead and picked up the first book, Lick, by Kylie Scott, and if you guys have never read the series, OMG. I think it was last year that I fell in love with like rocker love stories, and this is one of my all-time favorites in that genre, I guess you could say, the rock star romance. Lick follows David and Evelyn. David and Evelyn meet on this one night in Vegas, and at the beginning you really don't kind of know the whole story, like, of how they met and things like that. You kind of get the aftermath and kind of go from there. And essentially what happens is that Evelyn and David get married. And she has no idea. She does not remember. She had so much fun with him, but was that drunk. And it just goes from there. And little by little in the story, you start falling for David. I know I fell for David. And so does Evelyn. But in her head, she doesn't know how she is going to survive in this rocker world. So I was totally connected with his characters. It was such a page turner. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody. And to be honest with you, it's a little blurry, but I do remember stuff, like my favorite stuff. Like, I know when he tells her, like, it's not fair that he remembers and she doesn't, and things like that. So he was just so swoon worthy. I went ahead and gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I moved on to Play by Kylie Scott. This follows the drummer of Stage Dive, which is Mal. Mal is the bad boy of the band, and he needs to clean up his act ASAP. Anna Rollins, who is the love interest, is hit with hard times. Her roommate, like, basically runs off with the rent and leaves her in the middle of the night, and she's scrambling to find a place. Sorry, she's scrambling to figure out what she's going to do because she really has nowhere else to go. Mal comes up with a great idea for her to pretend to be his girlfriend, and he will go ahead and pay for the rent and things like that. And it just kind of goes from there. And seeing Mal and Anne, I think, I can't remember. Just seeing their relationship evolve and the things that they had to go through, I really enjoyed it. It was just a page turner for me as well, and I went ahead and gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book is Lead, and this follows Jimmy, who is David's brother, who is the lead singer, who has a lot of problems. And there's something that takes place that leads him into rehab, and when he comes out, after going through, I think, a couple, he leads on a new assistant who, slash assistant, slash, like, help you stay clean rehab counselor type of thing, if I remember correctly. Her name is Lena, and yeah, sparks fly, and Jimmy's trying to make her want to take a chance, but kind of like hard for her, and I just enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I totally forgot to mention that I read Deep by Kylie Scott. This is book 4 in the series. It follows Ben, who is the bass player, and Lizzie, who's Anne's little sister. She has always kind of had a crush on him. You see it in book 2, but they kind of stay away from each other, and a lot of it has to do because of her age. But as the story progresses, they get closer, and there's like a big bundle of joy. And yes, I loved it. It concluded it perfectly, even though I would love to live in this world more. But of course, I did give it 5 out of 5 stars. I know there's going to be a spin-off, which I can't remember at this moment, but if I do, you will probably see it on the screen. But yeah. From there, I was like, what other rocker romance can I pick up and that I haven't read already? And I didn't know what to go with. So I ended up going with Dazed. This is by Karr. It is the 2.5. It's a novella in the Connection series. In the first and second book, it follows River, who was in a band, and all that stuff happens. If you guys haven't read it, I'm not going to ruin it, but I'll leave links down below from a review that I did or a wrap-up or something on it, because I've read it in the past. But Dazed follows River's cousin Jagger, who they really didn't meet or weren't really grew up with him because he lived in France. But when River and his wife, I can't think of her name right now, when they go to Paris, they meet Jagger and whatever, right? So Jagger comes to LA. He moves to LA to try his hand at acting, and he meets Ari. I think I said her name right. She is, what's her name? Delilah's best friend, who's River's wife. And I think I ruined things, but it's okay, sorry. Yeah. So he comes, he swoons her. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I loved getting to know a less kind of stuck up Ari. Not that she's stuck up, but not so stern, I guess, is the best way to explain it. From there, I moved on to Mended, which is the 3rd book in the series. This follows Xander, who is River's brother slash manager when we meet him, and after the events from the 2nd book, Xander is trying to find someone to be the lead singer of the Wild Ones. Yes, the Wild Ones. There was someone that was part of the group, but they got sick from their throat, and so they weren't going to be able to go on tour. Enters Ivy. I think we've heard a little bit about her in the previous books, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember that far back. But Evie is someone that River and Xander knew when they were younger. She was actually, I think, like Xander's first like serious girlfriend, and I loved getting the backstory of them, like getting the flashbacks and things like that. I really enjoyed it. Ivy's in some sticky situations. She kind of grew up singing the kind of music that River was into playing, but as she became a solo artist, she kind of turned more poppy, and a lot of that had to do with her fiance, and I just enjoyed the story. I was eager to see Xander be happy after him being like a stick in the mud in the previous first 2 books. So when I completed it, I was extremely happy, and I went ahead and gave it 5 out of 5 stars. From there, I went ahead and went on to 3.5, which is Blurred, which follows Ben Covington, and if you read the first book, Connected, you know all about the sticky situations that he got himself in the first and the second book, and I enjoyed it. I really didn't think I would because I didn't really like his character in the second book. I did not appreciate the headaches that he was causing Delilah, and I mean, after the experience of reading the first book, like I don't know what to say because I don't want to ruin it. I think it's a book that should be read without spoilers, but I enjoyed it. I liked finding out his side, like what was he going through and whatnot. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. So these are the 6 books and 2 novellas that I ended up reading in the month of April. If you guys have read the books, let me know in the comments down below. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!